that he engaged.
All right, let's interrupt our conversation with Paula Reed to take you now live to Indianapolis, the Landmark for Peace Memorial, where there's an event honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. On this day, of course, in 1968, Senator Robert F. Kennedy announced the death of the civil rights icon. You're looking at the civil rights icon in his own right, John Lewis, honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Let's listen.
Working in the field in the hot sun, and my mother would say, boy, you need to catch up. You're falling behind. And I would say, it's hot out here. This is hard work. She would say, hard work never killed anybody. I said, well, it's about to kill me. This is cold weather. We all know better. But I remember sitting in, marching during the 60s, walking. It was cold, but we kept walking. We kept marching. I tell you, to all of the honorable elected officials, my brother, Andrew Carson, thank you for those kind words of introduction. To all of the elected officials here, the governor, the mayor, members of Congress, the two senators, and to all of you wonderful, good, loving people. You're wonderful. This is hard. This is tough for me to come back here. I have not been back to this park. I've been back to Indianapolis. But coming back here 50 years later, to be here with Robert Kennedy, a man that I admire, a man that I love, a man who I believe if he had lived, he would have been elected president of the United States of America. And our country would be a better country. And maybe we'll be a little closer to building a beloved world. Robert Kennedy loved people. He loved young people. And to be here in the park at night, April 4th, 1968, when he announced that Robert Kennedy, he announced, just as Robert Kennedy announcing that Dr. King had been assassinated, I cried. I lost a friend. I lost a big brother. I lost my leader. If it hadn't been for Martin Luther King Jr., I don't know what would have happened to our nation. I don't know what would have happened to many of us that have been left out and left behind. I thank God that he lived. He taught us how to live. He taught us how to stand up, to be brave, courageous, and bold, and to never give up. Taught us, if you get arrested and go to jail, go with dignity. I got arrested 40 times during the 60s. And since I've been in Congress, another 5 times. And I'm probably going to get arrested again for something. It is very simple when you see something that is not right, something that is not fair, something that is not just. You have a moral obligation to say something, to do something. You cannot be quiet. Some of you have heard me say that we have to be on the right side of history. We have to treat people right. We have to love everybody. It doesn't make sense for us to see young people who came to our country when they were babies, the dreamers, That's not right. That's not fair. That's not just. And history will not be kind to us. We all are children of God Almighty. And none of our children should be left out or left behind. It doesn't matter whether we're black or white, Latino, Asian American, or Native American. It doesn't matter whether we are straight or gay. We're one people. We're one family. We all live in the same house. If Robert Kennedy was here, if Dr. King was here, they would say love each other and never hate. For hate is too heavy a burden to bear. 50 years ago, this city was peaceful, so quiet. The message of Robert Kennedy and Martin Luther King Jr., that message of love and peace, you have a story to tell. It can spread around our nation and around the world. So I said to you, go in peace. Thank you.
All right, you've just been listening there to Representative John Lewis, marking 50 years to the day since Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. He talked about losing his friend. He talked about not just Dr. King, but also Robert F. Kennedy, who he believes would have been president of the United States had he too not been taken by an assassin's bullet. There are celebrations and memorials and moments of vigil that are taking place all across the country. You're looking at also a live picture right there. Amid the cherry blossoms, carved out of stone, the towering statue of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on this day, 50 years ago, when he was assassinated. We're going to take a quick break, but we're going to continue to follow all of these memorials all across the country.